Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place. Or get smacked down, play it safe, what you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boo to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they will have some kind of talk about the big game this Sunday night, Philadelphia versus the Dallas Cowboys. First place in the NFC East up for grabs. Maybe they'll even talk about this play-in tournament in the NBA, where it's like the winner gets the Seth Rollins World Championship. Like, you don't really get a belt, but you do get a belt, you know? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be talking about college football playoffs as well.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad that like I thought Georgia would still get in with a loss, but I'm more mad for FSU than I am for Georgia. Georgia lost. They should have, if you wanted to guarantee getting in, you should have won, and they didn't. But FSU should be in it.
I told you Georgia wasn't going to get in with one loss. I lied.
I feel like if FSU would have lost, Georgia probably would have got in with one loss.
I lied. I didn't say that. I said I didn't think they deserved to get in with one loss, but I thought they might still get in there. But as far as FSU go, I mean, you kind of penalizing the kids. They, put their heart and soul in going undefeated. But, I mean, facts are the facts, man. They're down to, their third-string quarterback.
They're still undefeated, and they won a Power 5 conference. Alabama lost the game.
And then once they get their ass kicked in the first round, we're going to be like, they shouldn't have been in there.
They deserve a chance to do it. Those kids worked their ass off this year. They deserve a chance to go to the playoffs more than Alabama did. Alabama lost the game. They didn't.
It might be a consolation prize, but you could prove that you deserve to be in. You got Georgia in the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl? One of those two.
If I was them two, I wouldn't even show up.
All right. Well, your school still gets a big payout from those New Year's Sixes bowls.
Yeah, but it's clearly college football is like a money grab. Like, they don't give a fuck about these people. Alabama would bring in more money than FSU would. That's all that is.
That is true. But, I mean, I'm kind of torn on it because, like I said, this strength of schedule was trash. I mean, it's not.
I mean, it is what it is. They still won a Power 5 conference and they were undefeated, and Alabama wasn't. Texas also wasn't undefeated, but Texas beat Alabama. So clearly they deserve it over Alabama, which is why they're ranked higher. I don't think Alabama should have gotten it. They always find a way. If there's a fucking snowball's chance in hell to put Alabama in the playoff, they're always going to lean that way. If you're ever tied with Alabama and you got the better resume for the last spot, I feel for you because you're not going to get it.
Hey, like Shannon Sharp said, it's the Alabama Invitational. Just got to deal with it. And
then Michigan's sorry ass scared of them. They're all reacting poorly because Alabama's number 4 and they don't want to play them. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, like a certain wrestler said, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. If you want to show you the best, you got to go through the most dominant college program in the past 15 years or so.
Alabama just beat the man. I'm really pissed off that Georgia didn't get a chance to be the first team to win 3 in a row, though. I shouldn't say they didn't get a chance. I'm pissed off that they laid an egg on Saturday.
I mean, then you see some cracks, though. Didn't Georgia Tech go toe-to-toe with them for a lot of that game?
I mean, everybody's going toe-to-toe with everybody, though. But in a big game, you got to step up and fucking win, and they didn't.
Yeah, man, those were breaks. But, next season it's going to be kind of a moot point because you got 12 teams, which I don't like, but Then you have 13 crying and not being able to get in. You have Boise State or somebody crying.
You can't get in with 12 teams. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's your fault. Like, it is what it is.
Just
But
saying.
who knows? Like you said, who knows what the requirements will be then? They'll have 2 lost teams in, and probably undefeated non-Power 5 conference champions not getting in. So who knows? It is what it is, though.
Yeah. Like I said, those are the breaks. You had a pretty action-packed weekend. I know you watched the game with your friend, didn't you? On your Vegas trip.
No, I didn't watch the game with him. He wanted to stay at his house. I ended up watching it while I was at brunch with everybody. So I was like half-ass paying attention to it. And then I was gonna go to the Vegas Knights game, but I got a real hot hand at the roulette table and just decided, nah.
Want
Yeah,
some money, huh?
Came away about plus $2,000.
What?
All in. Yeah. I cashed in. I'm gonna tell a lot of this story on the 80 proof on Thursday, but at one point the pit boss was like eyeballing me. I was like, what the fuck is this? And when you win like a big hand or whatever, they have to get them to come count it if it's a lot of chips before they give it to you. So he's like looking at me, and I played a couple more times and I lost, and I played another one. I won another big hand or big roll. And he comes over, he's like, hey, you have a player's card? I was like, nah. He's like, well, if you give me your ID, I'll go get you one. Now, I don't, for those of you that don't know about casinos, when you get a player's card, you have to go up to the cashier. You got to turn your ID in. They register it to you, and they kind of keep track of like how much you're gambling, how long you're staying at the tables and shit like that. But normally you got to do it. So he went and did it for me for whatever reason. I'm like, that's weird. But, what am I going to say? No, I'm not going to get up and go do it myself because I'm fucking winning. So he comes back, he gives me the card, and he's like, you're from Georgia. Like, when's the next time you're coming out here? I was like, I don't know. I come a couple times a year, probably 3-4 months from now. And he shakes my hand and gives me his card. And he's like, next time you come out, make sure you give me a call about 2 weeks beforehand. 3 nights are on me. I was like, oh, okay. And we ended up talking a little bit more. And he's basically just, like people that play a lot and that are not assholes. Like, we want them to come back. Basically saying, you've been playing a lot of roulette, and I want you to come back and lose the fucking money that you've been winning.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you basically just summed it up. They just want you to come back so they can get their money back.
Yeah,
Like,
which I'm fine with, because whatever. I'll come back and not even fucking gamble.
yeah, little do they know.
But yeah, man, I was killing it on the roulette table. Like, I played about a couple hours Friday night. Saturday I played a couple times, and then Sunday I played a couple times. But like, I was winning the most when I was by myself. When there was like all our friends and shit were there with us, I really didn't do much. But I was fucking killing it. At one time, I started out with $200. That's how much I started with, just gambling. And I ended up with just putting $100 chips in my pocket and like keeping the shit that was on the table there. Like, I was like, all right, I got 200 in my pocket. I'm even. Okay, let me add another $100 chip. All right, let me put another $100 chip in my pocket. And so I'd be playing, and at one point I went from gambling $5 chips to $25 chips, which I'd never fucking done before, just putting them on numbers. So it was fun. I had a good string of luck because there's no skill involved in roulette. You just fucking get lucky.
Yeah, man. $2,000, man. Then it's about to be on you for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I went up there. I was telling Tabitha, I said I took 500 out because I didn't think I had any cash on me. But then I had like $200 in cash in like a fucking envelope sitting on my dresser that was from Mexico, because we took cash to Mexico. So I had $700 when I went out there. Well, one of the bars that we went to a couple nights was cash only. And I bought like a few rounds for everybody. Like, it was my buddy's birthday. Met a couple Covino and Rich listeners out there. And I bought a few rounds. So I spent cash doing that. And I spent cash on something else. So basically, I took 700 out there minus whatever I bought in cash, and I brought back 2,400. So I did pretty good.
Yeah, man. Christmas about to be booming in the Rucker household.
Right, that's what I said. When I went to cash the chips in, the lady counted the $100 chips I had. She was like, she had to get on the phone and call and make sure that I had won that much and I didn't steal them, which I guess is regular. She didn't say that, but that's what she did because I heard her say my name when she looked at my player's card. Like Chris Rucker's cashing out with $2,000. Then they put her on hold, and I guess they went and looked at the fucking videos and shit like that.
Wouldn't have did that to a white man.
I don't give a fuck. As long as they gave me my cash. But
That's
it was a good time. Good little trip. I wish it would have been a day longer. But it was a good little trip.
Lady Luck was on your side. I mean, you just got back this morning, though, right?
No, I got back yesterday.
I feel like
I did Friday night through Monday morning.
I feel like 3 days in Vegas is usually enough.
Yeah, but it wasn't really 3 days, right? We got in late Friday night. Like by the time we got off the plane and my buddy picked us up, it was 10 o'clock. We had to go grab something to eat and then met up with everybody. And I went to work that day. So I've been up since 5 a.m. my time. So by the time we got there, it was 1 a.m. my time. So we stayed out, and it's like I'm up almost 24 hours straight. And then Saturday, it was just like a catch up, trying to catch up on sleep, meet up with everybody. Sunday, Tabitha was hungover most of the day, so she was asleep. Like she had to leave brunch. She had to do the Irish exit because we were all sitting there. She's like, I can't fucking do this. I was like, well, just leave. Don't say anything to anybody. She'll spend 10 minutes with everybody being like, oh, what's wrong? Are you sure you're all right? You want me to get you something? You know how that shit goes.
Yeah.
So she just walked out. She slept till about 5. And then because she was hungover, we really didn't party that much on Sunday because we had a fucking 8 a.m. flight to get up out of there. So it was, like I said, I could have did one more full day there.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, I'm sure you're getting into the nitty-gritty details on 80 proof. When's your next Vegas trip? I'm sure you already got it lined up already to go back.
I don't know, but I'm gonna make sure I keep Buddy's card. I took a picture of it. So I didn't want, like, the D hotel wasn't the best, but a free hotel is a fucking free hotel in Vegas.
Yeah. If it's free flowing, it's me, I'm going. That's what they say.
Let's get into some wrestling, EJ. I watched sparingly. Friday, I was traveling during SmackDown, but I woke up early as fucking hell Saturday morning. So I laid in bed watching that because I couldn't fucking sleep. I didn't get Collision. I was busy. And I watched a little bit of Monday Night Raw today. But for the most part, I kept up with everything on Twitter and social media and shit like that. So let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. We had a world title match last night on Raw. I'm gonna tell you what I did and what I didn't like about it. But what'd you think about it? Jey Uso and Seth freaking Rollins.
It was a good match. You had the crowd on the edge of their seats. They were really pulling for Jey. They were kind of giving it back to Seth Rollins a little bit, chanting Phil's name during the match. And then, Jey was able to sway the crowd on his side towards the end of the match, and a lot of near falls. I mean, like we said earlier, this has pretty much become the workhorse belt. It's defended on Raw, which I kind of like. I kind of don't like. I mean, kind of takes the luster away from it, defending it so much on Raw. It's okay to have that occasional defense on Raw, but it was a banger of a match. Seth pulled it out, and then they kind of gave you a not really a cliffhanger, but something to carry you over to the next week. You had Drew attacking them at the end of the match. So, yeah, I digged it.
I feel like I expected Rollins to win, but I expected Drew to interfere in the match. I didn't expect it to be after the match. What I did love about the match was, like you said, the crowd reaction for Jey. I feel like there's two people in wrestling right now that WWE probably isn't looking at as a world champion, but they could easily do it, and it's Jey and Bobby Lashley. I feel like them two have some of the most, like, natural, especially Lashley. Lashley just has a natural crowd reaction. Like, he doesn't come out pandering. He's not a baby. He's supposed to be a heel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And the whole match against Butch, like, people are chanting his name, like cheering for the moves he's doing and shit. But back to Jey, like, they could absolutely pull the, if they did. It's about to be WrestleMania season. They're not going to call an audible now, but I feel like if this was April, May, June, they could have absolutely put the title on him last night. What I didn't like, and I liked, is it's the same thing. I loved that it was a clean finish. I hate the fact that Jey got pinned again since he's been on Monday Night Raw. I feel like he's been pinned like 4 or 5 times since he's been on Raw.
Jey?
Yep. He got pinned by Rollins. He got pinned by Drew. He got pinned by Judgment Day when they beat them for the titles. And then in the rematch, he got pinned. Like, he's just eating pinfall since he got to Raw.
Might be on something. I don't know why. Like you said, I wouldn't have mind them having a DQ finish yesterday, but in the Triple H era, you don't see a lot of DQ finishes and a lot of wonky stuff going on. It's usually straight up wrestling matches in the Triple H era, but I'm not opposed to DQ finishes on weekly TV. It kind of helps you string along the 3 hours you got to fill, and you're putting on a show every week. So as long as you're creative with it and it doesn't get too repetitive, I feel like it keeps people strong. Like you said, Jay's been eating pin after pin recently. I hadn't really noticed it, but now that you mentioned it, you're right.
See, the thing with the DQ finish, though, is if you do it all the time, like a person like me, when I'm watching like that match, I honestly was like, Drew's going to interfere, so why even get invested in it? I found myself still kind of getting invested in it, but if you're expecting the DQ finish, it takes away the match. So I don't know, book with some balls, Guess what? The Eagles and the Cowboys play Sunday night. One of them has to lose. It can't be a tie. And then you come back the next week and you try again. That's what happens in sports. That's what happens in competition. You don't have to do a DQ finish. You have a main event. You have one guy beat the other guy, and the other guy comes back the next week and tries to win somewhere else in another way. Like, that's how fighting goes.
Well, that's what they did, kind of. Seth won. So I guess
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I loved it and I hated it. I hated the fact that it was Jey that lost, but
what happened? Time limit draws. I like how AEW uses them. They don't overuse them, but they use them every now and then. What happened to time limit draws?
WWE doesn't do it that much. Next up, Randy Orton. Randy Orton came back last week at Survivor Series, showed up on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown, and made the decision. Who knew he was a free agent?
I mean, it makes sense. He wasn't around for the last couple drafts, so it only makes sense that he was a free agent.
Apparently, your boy Phillip is a free agent also.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll be hearing more about that on SmackDown, but Randy Orton chose his side. What do you think about him being injected in the Bloodline story?
I don't mind it. It's something fresh. They did put him out. So it is something fresh that it's a different opponent. I'm not mad at Roman versus fucking Randy Orton at Royal Rumble, if that's where this is headed.
I mean, it's almost like a stopgap, though. He's not beating Roman at Royal Rumble.
Or maybe Orton wins maybe Orton wins the Royal Rumble and it's him at WrestleMania instead of Cody.
I don't see that happening. I mean, never say never, but it looks like it's going to be Roman and Randy at Royal Rumble. It's going to be a fine match. I'm sure it's going to be some type of stipulation on it, probably.
I'm telling you now, Tuesday, December 5th, if it's not Orton, if it's Roman versus Cody again at Mania, I think Roman's winning again.
What was I listening to? I think Busted Open. I think they had Ice Cube son, O'Shea Jr. He was saying that he wouldn't mind seeing Roman go all the way till next year's SummerSlam or something crazy like that, just so he could break Terry's record.
I don't think WWF would give a fuck about that, but us black people would love it.
Of course we would. But
Samoans are pretty much black anyway, right?
Was that?
Samoans are pretty much black anyway.
Yeah, black adjacent. Yeah. So if Cody wins again, so you're just gonna have him lose to Roman again? I just don't see that happening. Roman face anybody but Cody. I can see Roman winning. He's got to finish the story, man.
Fuck that story.
Yeah.
I'm a Cody fan. But
I would rather see. I was gonna say I'd rather see somebody else win the Rumble and go for Seth's belt, and then have, I don't know, figure out another way to get somebody to face Roman.
So now that Orton's on SmackDown, is it a foregone conclusion that Punk is going to be on Raw?
I mean, unless they're just trying to swerve for swerve's sake. Shout out to Swerve Strickland. Nah, I don't see him being on SmackDown. He's got to be on Raw, just, to have some balance in the power structure, so to speak.
I mean, if I'm in the USA Network, I'm pissed off that two big ass stars came back and you sent both of them to Raw. I mean, SmackDown, if they do send Punk over there. But also, I don't know. I kind of would rather see him on SmackDown.
And then what?
I don't fucking know. And then he can get up in Roman's face and Roman can whoop his ass.
So it's just gonna be Randy and Punk at Roman at the same time. I don't see that happening.
Because you can trust Randy Orton. Ask Nick Aldis about that shit.
He got RKO for no reason.
Yeah, and you don't think Punk would?
Yeah, I just see it makes sense for him to go to Raw. But hey, Roman gotta see Punk though. I sent you so earlier. Punk beat the Shield by himself.
I don't even remember what that was from.
It's from TLC 2013. He beat Mox, Rollins, and Reigns by himself. It was a handicap match.
Yeah, I didn't remember Punk ever fighting the Shield because I was telling you that he had actually hired the Shield to help him retain the title, and they to the point where when he fought The Rock, Vince said that if the Shield got involved, he would strip the title from Punk and The Rock would be the champion. And halfway through the match, the lights went out and they beat his ass. And Vince came out like, "No, I told you if they got involved." And The Rock was like, "That's not how I want the title. Restart the match." So
sounds like a bunch of nonsense.
One of them dusty finishes.
Yeah. But yeah, this was later on in the year because then Rock come back earlier that year. This was close to being when Punk was out of the company. I guess that's why they posted it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know when it was. I figured it would have been when he was the champion, but because not too long after that, the Shield turned babyface. So I don't really see Punk beating him by himself.
He beat him by himself. They posted the free match on YouTube earlier.
TLC comes before Royal Rumble. TLC is like the
end of the year. It was December 2013. Royal Rumble 2014 was his last one.
Yeah, okay. So they did that. That was before he hired them or whatever. Paul Heyman hired them, I guess.
But wouldn't that have been the prior year, like when he was still a champion with The Rock?
His last Royal Rumble, he was the champion, wasn't he?
Nah.
Oh, yeah, because he was in the Royal Rumble for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then he quit the next night.
Because the main event of this TLC, because I went back and look what was going on the network. It was Orton unifying the belt with Cena. It said the world heavyweight and the WWE title unifying that on that TLC.
Okay, then yeah, that was well after because that was the new title that Orton had that he had cashed in on Daniel Bryan. So the title that Punk had was a spinner belt, and The Rock was like, "This shit looks like a toy. Like we need a new belt." So, okay, then yeah, I guess he did. That's weird. I tell you what, the Shield. I was just sitting here like thinking about all of it. The storyline with the Shield when they turned babyface was so good.
How'd they do that?
So they were heels the whole time, and they were working for Triple H, and the whole roster like jumped them because they was beating everybody. They jumped them on Raw, and so on SmackDown, the Shield came out and they just started like rolling up on people, beating the fuck out of them, and then they beat up the whole roster, and then the whole roster jumped them again some kind of way. So Corporate Kane, basically spit it out that because the Shield beat up Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, he's like, "Who do you think told them to do it? It was Triple H." And then all this tension started because the Shield were basically in the corporation, and all this tension started until Roman finally fucking speared the shit out of Triple H. And then the next thing you know, it's the Shield versus Evolution, which was two good ass matches. Like Batista had came back, Orton and Triple H joined each other, and it was the Shield and Evolution in back-to-back pay-per-views. That was right. And then the very next night is when Rollins turned on them. So the Shield was like super fucking over, and then they just snatched the fucking rug off from under you and had Rollins turn heel and dismantle the Shield. But it was a good little like 4 to 6 month storyline with him.
Who did they face at WrestleMania 30? Because I went back and watched it. Was it the New Age Outlaws or somebody random like that?
One thing, it was New Age Outlaws and Kane.
So random. And then
And that the next night is when Kane was like, "Who do you think told everybody to beat y'all up?" So Triple H was about to take the title from Bryan, and the Shield's music hit, and the Shield came out and beat the fuck out of them, and then that's when Evolution reformed.
did they have a match at the WrestleMania in New York, the 29? Can't remember.
They may have fought like a random team like Big Show, Kane, and somebody else fucking big, and they beat them. I want to think it might have been Team Hell No and Big Show.
Hey, that's why we have the handy tool of Google. So that's the one where The Rock faced Cena again. Oh, and you said I want to show you just guessed it right. I can't remember who you just said. They were facing the Big Show and Randy Orton and Sheamus.
Okay, yeah, I didn't say them.
Oh.
Yeah, that I remember that now. Yep. And they beat them.
That's kind of random team. Sheamus and Randy Orton and Big Show.
Yeah, because the Shield was kicking everybody's ass. And the Shield was undefeated as a trio.
And then the next year you got right. It was the New Age Outlaws and Kane. The New Age Outlaws, they were a part of the Authority too, weren't they? I guess
they were just, like you say, adjacent.
Oh, they weren't official.
They were just kind of there.
Did they have official members of the Authority?
I mean, they had Triple H's buddies. Like, really, the Authority wasn't the Authority, like members and shit, didn't start until Rollins turned. Like Kane was there, but he was an official. He was still like get physical, but he was an official. And it was like Triple H and Stephanie just running the show with Jamie Noble security and shit like that. So, oh shit, we got Kiana James versus Fallon.
So was it just like basically like because Triple H was still wrestling at the time? Was it just a repeat of the Himesley McMahon dynasty? What was it?
No, he wasn't wrestling at the time. He was literally just the authority figure. He had like basically stepped aside, but when Roman whooped his ass, he decided to come back and wrestle.
Oh, him and Roman faced off at WrestleMania in 2016, so they was carrying this storyline for that long.
Yeah,
jeez, that had to get repetitive.
It actually didn't. It was just like a Triple H Roman beef. Like when Triple H took over again, he was like, "I'm trying to do the right thing," and Roman's like, "I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like I know you cheating for these motherfuckers." And after TLC with Sheamus, Roman just fucking went crazy and put Triple H through a table and then beat up Vince McMahon the next night on Raw. And they threatened to fire him. And he was like, "Well, fucking fire me then." And Vince was
still
like,
taking bumps.
Yeah, Vince is getting he was taking Superman punches at least. I don't think he got speared. I think he got a couple Superman punches.
I'm gonna ask you, like I hadn't watched them because what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? Kevin Owens headbutted him.
Yeah, Kevin Owens beat his ass.
Vince, man, as much of a creep he is, he'll do anything for the business. Like I've heard
It's kind of hard to not take a bump when your fucking 70-year-old boss is taking him.
Yeah, that's what he tells like Zalon. I won't let you do anything that I wouldn't do. That crazy son of a gun. You said Kalani Jordan, or did you say Kiana Jane?
It's Kiana James versus Thea Hale versus, I was gonna say Cora Jade. What's my short girl's name? Roxy versus I said Kiana Fallon Henley. It's a four-way.
I think it's the last chance or whatever. So I'm gonna have to ruin the results tonight. Usually, I usually watch it afterwards, but we gotta predict the show, and I think that's a match for somebody to get in for that Iron Survivor Challenge. I think the winner gets that last spot.
I'll just have to tell you then when it's over.
Yeah.
That way we can do good predict. Man, I say this every week. NXT's got really good looking women in it.
I mean, vicariously doesn't that mean the main roster has good looking women because they all graduate to the main roster?
If it's just strictly on looks, I take NXT's roster over anybody.
So you just saying
if it's wrestling, I take. Ooh, I think I take Impact's roster on strictly wrestling.
They have a lot. They have a lot of quality, but I don't know if the depth is there.
Yeah, they're top heavy in Impact, but their really good ones are really good. Like on Raw, you got like Becky. You know, people want to say Rhea. I'm not there yet with Rhea. But then the level from those two to the next tier is a pretty big fucking jump.
So here's something I didn't have on our rundown. Mercedes Moné. A lot of chatter about her. Where do you think she lands?
I think I've been pretty consistent with this that I think she's going back to WWE eventually.
Everybody goes back eventually. I'm saying next month or two. The first place she pops up once she comes back from injury. That's what I'm asking.
I think, and I want to, not that she would ever see this, but if she does, I just want to say, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I think she'd be dumb as hell to go to AEW.
I get what you're saying, just because their history with the women's division in general, but if you look at it from the other side of things, if they're promising to make her like the spotlight, the feature, the main person, and they're gonna pay her a lot of money, that gotta be enticing some.
Who's she gonna wrestle? Sky Blue?
Thunder? Britt? They can finally have these women.
She's not even on TV. She's been cleared for months.
Tony.
Britt Baker's not even on TV. She's on Twitter bitching about not being on TV.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Tony. I mean,
I'm just talking about the overall state of AEW right now. If I'm a free agent, I don't go. If I'm Okada, when my contract's up next month, I don't even take Tony Khan's phone calls.
I mean,
I'm going nowhere near there.
They just got Osprey and not Okada,
Ibushi.
Yeah, Ibushi.
I feel like
go ahead.
You've lost Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jade Cargill to the WWE. What big stars since AEW has started have left WWE to go to AEW?
Danielson, Copeland now.
I said big stars.
Copeland is a multi-time WWE champion. Danielson.
Okay, currently a humongous fucking star. Edge wasn't moving the needle. He was barely wrestling. He was just like, his comeback was cool, but he didn't win the title. He had the dumbest fucking gimmick match with Randy Orton, the greatest wrestling match of all time.
So WWE, they got Punk. Cody was able to elevate his name higher once he got back to the WWE. Not like when he left AEW, he was the hottest star in the business. And Jade, she's still an up and comer. She's a young starlet, but we got to see what she actually does now that she's got the WWE platform on.
So I'm trying to compare apples to apples, though. I'm saying in the AEW universe, Cody was one of the biggest stars there. CM Punk was definitely one of the biggest stars in AEW. Jade was definitely one of the biggest female stars in AEW. I don't think the place of Danielson, Edge, who else did you name? Definitely Adam Cole. He didn't even make it to the main roster. I don't think
I didn't name him.
I don't think the place that they were in WWE equals where Punk, Jade, and Cody were.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying? These were the main event people that are leaving AEW to go to WWE. When I mean, technically, Danielson and Edge were higher mid card when they left WWE.
Cody left a while ago. So, of course, at the time, it was a big loss, but now that time has passed. But they fumbled the Punk back big time. And
He
it's
had a
still
lot to do with
baffling. It's still baffling. What's that?
he had a lot to do with it. I don't want to sit here and absolve him of any wrongdoing. I think he had a lot to do with the bag being fumbled.
I blame him. I blame him, of course, some because he actually reacted, but I blame a lot of that on them. I still think
I think
the elite are children.
as
And
time's going by, I think you're right. I think it's more of a AEW thing than it was a Punk thing.
I thought that basically the whole time because the elite are children. You shouldn't have wrestlers in high positions, like I said in the past. And so much money has been left on the table. Like, if you're Tony Khan, you just got to sit people down in the room. They're like, I don't care if y'all don't like each other. We're making money and we could turn this into a storyline. But, he coddled them, and I heard they got multiple meetings canceled where they were supposed to meet up, and Punk was the one that he was the head of them. He was trying to get it together, and I heard the guys didn't show up. So, like I said, Punk should have reacted in certain ways during the whole ordeal, but it seems like he was trying to mend things, and you got the children on the other side not wanting to do business. So,
I mean, but you do have to take into account the history of this motherfucker. Like, like he doesn't just get absolved of any wrongdoing because at the end he's like, all right, let's try to redo this. And they're like, no, fuck you. Like, people run out of patience with bullshit. And Punk has bullshit that just follows him. But I also think that the frustration that he probably felt seeing the company not being run correctly and things not being done the way it should be done probably did frustrate him. And he probably looked back at WWE like, shit, it wasn't so fucking bad over there.
yeah, grass ain't always green on the other side. I mean, definitely structure. The company's been around for 60 years, and like I said, he's gonna be on his best behavior now because, like you just said, he's like, it ain't so bad over there.
Yeah,
getting these scripts from these
probably
writers.
running out of money.
I don't think he's running out of money. He may be. I don't know his pockets, but I'm sure he's still making a lot off his name and likeness. I know he does stuff with comic books and commentary and whatnot, but I mean, you can't sneeze at that WWE check. I'm sure they're paying $1 million. So, hey, I'm curious to see where it goes. But I mean, I get what you're saying, kind of from the outside looking in, but not. I mean, some people still look at wrestling as an art, so maybe not everybody still wants to go to WWE if they just want to wrestle how they want to wrestle. And that's why AEW kind of presents itself as an alternative, even though Tony Khan doesn't act like it sometimes.
I don't know. I think people are seeing the cracks in the armor with AEW now, and this isn't a I'm one of those people that's like, yeah, they'll be out of business in 3 years. I hope they're not. I like having another company there, but they really do got to get their shit together. And what brought this whole thing up? If I'm Mercedes, I don't fuck with AEW at all. I'd rather go to Impact.
Yeah, I mean, she could be with her friend, but if she goes back to WWE, I mean, it'll be nice for us fans. I'm sure we'll get the Horsewoman versus Damage Control, but then what? Are they gonna propel her into the title contention? They may.
We never did get the same thing with the Shield. I feel like they missed it with the Shield. They should have did a triple threat main event elimination match with the Shield for the world title at WrestleMania. The same way they should have did a horsewomen elimination match 4-way at WrestleMania. They had Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte, but that was before they were all like super fucking stars. And now they're all humongous. An elimination match with Bayley, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte, I'd fucking love it. Just like I'd love Roman, Seth, and Ambrose in an elimination match.
Still might happen one day. Like I said, everybody usually goes back, but Moxley just signed a 5-year deal, so it'll be a while. Roman might be gone by then.
I know you say everybody usually goes back, but ain't no way in hell Moxley's ever going back to WWE until it's time to go to the Hall of Fame. He doesn't seem like the type of person that matters to him.
Yeah, he just
He's
wants
doing
to
what he does
bleed.
now. Yeah.
But I don't think I predicted. I think Sasha Mercedes, I think the next place we see her will be in WWE, because I think now that Vince is basically gone for good, I think Triple H and her have a good relationship. So yeah, maybe the Rumble. Maybe she makes a surprise entrance in the Rumble.
I have no idea who this woman is that just showed up on NXT is. It's a backstage promo with the champion, Lola Vice, and what's her buddy's name?
Carmen Electra or Electra Lopez? Electra Lopez.
I almost wanted to call her Carmen Electra too. They rolled up on Lyra Valkyria, and then some other woman rolled up and I thought had her back maybe, but she had I don't know.
It's a random blonde woman. I can't remember whose name it is. I think she's kind of like supposed to be like a European martial artist type situation.
This is a dark-haired woman. She had like dark lipstick and long curly hair and like a Freddy Krueger looking sweater on. I don't know who she was.
I have no clue.
Yeah,
I'll have to tune in later.
But yeah, that's my last NXT comment. Unless you want to know who won the match,
I
don't know. If I'm Mercedes, my list goes WWE, Impact, stay in Japan because she liked that, and I think that got cut short. And I'm sure if she signed with Impact, she'd probably still be able to do that, which she's always wanted to. I think AEW is at the bottom of the list, right above NWA. If I'm her, that's how I would judge it. Now, if I'm a male wrestler, I go to AEW, but a female, they don't do shit with you. Britt Baker's crying about being on TV. And her and Tony Khan were like this. When I was in Orlando, when she won the title, him and her walking through the lobby with a fucking bottle of Grey Goose at 1:00 p.m. to go get drunk and celebrate. Just him and her.
I think if she did go back to New Japan, I think she might do the little like hybrid thing that Ospreay was doing before he signed. Maybe she does still pop up in AEW. But I think one way to spark it off if you're AEW, because the hottest that the women's division was at one point was when you had Britt and Thunder Rosa in that lights out match. That was damn near 3 years ago now. That was like 2021, maybe even 2020. So you gotta break out of being formulaic if you're them in the women's division, because every show is only one woman match per show. Mix it up some. Do multiple woman matches some week. I think they're stuck in this formula.
I think where it hurts AEW is they don't run house shows like they were doing, and these people aren't getting the reps. I think they have good women that just need a little bit of fine tuning. Like, if Sky Blue got better at wrestling, man, she would be so fucking like over. Like, she got a good look. People like her. Her personality's good. Tony Storm's obviously really good. But what do you have behind Tony Storm? You got Sheeta, who people love her matches, but are they really behind her, or are they just behind the moves? Like, you hear people talk about this all the time. Like, am I cheering for you, or am I cheering for the move that you did? Like, that's a big difference. Like, I'm cheering for you because you just did a headlock takeover, but I'm cheering for this person because they just did a fucking Hurricane Rana on the top rope to the outside. Like, I don't care if they win or lose, but they did a cool move. And I think that's what the AEW's women's division is missing. Like, you're cheering more for the moves than you are for the person. You're not invested in the person. The last two women's wrestlers that had a personality on AEW were over as fuck. Britt Baker and Toni Storm. And look where it's getting them. Britt Baker was coming out like talking about the top 10 list and moving the shit down and knocking people off of it every time she would win, or if Nyla Rose would lose, Britt Baker would come out and be like, oh, looks like you just dropped down 2 spots. It got her over and it got her to the title. Toni Storm comes out and she's transformed and turned into Timeless Tony. She's over as hell.
Yeah.
She won with a loaded ass cheek.
Which was pulled off terribly, but I digress. I think they're doing a pretty decent job at starting to finally build that mid card with Julia Hart and Sky Blue's finally got a little bit of personality, but doesn't seem like a whole lot is going on with the main belt. I think it's time to break up the Outcasts, go back to the drawing board, have them be their own 2 individuals because you need heels. Yeah. And then what? Sheeta, she's the same character she was coming in. You could revamp her. I'm sure Britt will be coming back soon. I'm hoping she's not the devil. Maybe she's the devil. I don't know. If she is, hopefully they'll make it good. Who's Thunder Rosa? I heard she's ready to go. I don't know where she's at. I thought she was ready to go from the reports a few weeks back or a few months back, but she's a good body. What? I'm sure they're gonna put what's her name? You don't like her, Chris Statlander. I don't know. I'm not the hugest fan of Chris Statlander, but she could wrestle, but really no personality there. So it's just time to go back to the drawing board as far as the main title goes, because right now you just got Toni Storm and everybody else basically. Like I said, I like the mid card, like Julia Hart. Like, she's improved leaps and bounds in the ring, and everybody likes that House of Black stuff. So
Julia Hart's another one I left out that displays a little bit of personality and actually gets over, like character investment. And I think that's the difference in the AEW's women's division, is they need more character development. And when they actually give it, the fucking women get over. Jamie Hayter's another one. When you have a little bit of character development, you get over, and then you do the stuff in the ring, as opposed to coming out just trying to do cool moves. And with the women, it's more important because they don't get a lot of time.
That'll be a big when she comes back too, Jamie Hayter. Serena Deeb, I just saw her post. She's supposed to be coming back. Apparently, she was dealing with seizures. She's a good hand. And then you got the ROH thing going on, which I'm not a big fan of, but I heard Athena's killing it down there. And you got Ronda making pop-up appearances, which I still don't really understand the whole situation with that. I mean, they got bodies, but like you said, it's all about character development.
Athena's a good one too, also, that she's had character development, and that's how she got over it. It sucks that it's getting wasted in ROH and nobody's seeing it, but
and she's got the girl with her, Billy Starks. I don't know too much about her, but a lot of people like her. Another one you get groomed for later on. And Mariah May. I didn't watch a lot of her stuff over in Japan, but a lot of people like her. Maybe they'll do another Trish and Mickey type deal with her and Tony.
Mariah May is like she's like better than Stacy Keibler, but she's like a Stacy Keibler thing. Like,
I mean, people, not saying a lot, her being better than Stacy Keibler. Stacy Keibler was non-existent in the ring.
Okay, she's better than Stacey Keebler in the ring, but I'm saying the reason people like her is the reason that they like Stacey Keebler. She's tall, she's blonde, she's pretty. Now
That,
she's decent in the ring, but she ain't fucking, Sasha Banks or Becky or Naomi or somebody like that. Like she's there for what she's there for. Alicia Fox.
mm,
No, wait a minute. Alicia Fox was actually good in the ring.
nah.
People hate on Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox was fucking athletic as hell.
By the time I started picking back up with the product, she was pretty much regulated to main event. I didn't see a lot of her stuff.
Two-time Divas champion, Alicia Fox.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, shout out
She
to
had a hell
Alicia
of a
Fox.
scissors kick.
Oh,
She did that Booker T scissor kick.
mhm. Did she
That was
just
her
retire from the business?
I'd love to get her on the show. Talk to her about it.
Hey,
Talk to her for us, Mickey.
yeah. Let's get Alicia Fox on the show. I won't be mad at that.
We brought her up a second ago, Britt Baker. She's not happy about being booked and how she's not being booked on AEW. We've talked about this before. I'm just not a fan of wrestlers going on Twitter and talking shit like I need to be on TV more.
I thought you were gonna agree with her. She said MJF live promo time 7 minutes, Kristen Cage 10, all of 2023, Britt Baker 0.
I mean, there's no agreeing or disagreeing. Like if those are the facts, they're the facts. But I don't know. Ever since she won the world title, she's not over anymore. And the best thing about Britt Baker was Jamie Hayter. And Jamie Hayter's been hurt most of the year since she got injured. So imagine that. Like you take away Jamie Hayter and Rebel from the Britt Baker program, and now Britt Baker can't get on TV. Maybe she should look in the mirror. Maybe it's not Tony's fault. Maybe it's the fact that without Jamie and Rebel, nobody really cares.
They gotta pay that story off though. On a side note, I thought she was gonna turn on Jamie Hayter.
I think that's well past. Like Jamie's injury, they had so many times to do it, and they kept. This is why you can't put things off in wrestling. Like, oh, we can circle back to that because you never know when an injury will happen. And I think they kept saying we can do that later instead of doing it when it made sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you said, the ship's kind of sailed, but if you could be creative and maybe circle back around it, like come out of the gate thinking that they're back together when they return and then just have it done on the spot right there.
Yeah.
Shock people out the gate. But
first time Britt's on TV, she turns on Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, something like
Man,
that.
that's actually a pretty good fucking idea, actually.
And it won't happen now that we put it out there in the universe.
You have Britt come out and I want to welcome back my best friend. And then Jamie Hayter comes out, the crowd pops, and she beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's basically the only way you could do it. Because if you can't draw it out like you did before. But going back to Britt's tweet, you think she went rogue, or you think they have this plan behind the scenes on her putting that out?
I don't know why they would plan out drawing attention to something that is clearly criticized by the AEW fan base, which is the lack of women on TV.
Heel turn.
So I think, yeah, I feel like that was just her being like, "What the fuck? I'm ready to wrestle."
Well, that's another thing. If you're not Tony Storm, Tony Khan, you got wrestlers tweeting whatever they want. That's another thing. Carving back on the structure and the behind the scenes of AEW.
I mean, if I'm a boss, I feel like you tweet whatever you want, but when I fire your motherfucking ass, don't say nothing.
I mean,
like you're not gonna talk shit about the company and expect to still collect the check and come to work on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But WWE, they know not to do it at all, so you don't have to worry about that. Wrestlers saying whatever they want.
This shit going on in NXT is funny. You're gonna laugh when you see it. Um, I don't know. I feel like there should be a happy medium in between WWE being overly strict on what wrestlers tweet and Tony Khan just being like, yeah, say whatever you want.
Yeah. That's about life. Life is all about balance. Always usually a happy medium. But
They just
I don't
ran a
know.
commercial Cowboys and Eagles game on Sunday. EJ, I'm fucking ready for it.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one. Of course,
I
we'll
feel
get
like
into our picks later. What was that?
Dallas by at least 17.
17 points?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think it's close.
It's NFL, man.
It's also Dallas at home. They average over 40 points a game, and they've won 5 in a row versus Philadelphia at home.
That's true, man. Like they say, any given Sunday in the NFL.
I don't think the Eagles are that good. I know they're 10-2. I don't think they're that good. Talked about it on here. I think they're the Vikings from last year. I think they're a little bit better than the Vikings of last year. But eventually, all these close one-score games that you win are going to even out. And it just shows as good as what your record is.
I think they're good, but I don't think they're as good as the 49ers.
Well, clearly after fucking Sunday.
But it's so weird, man. I think it was just the injuries, man, that the 49ers lost those 3 games in the season.
I feel like if Dallas played the 49ers now, it'd be a different game. I wouldn't say Dallas would win, I guarantee, but Dallas has definitely turned it around since then. Like they're not running the same fucking boring, stupid ass offense. That was a game that if Dallas hangs around in that game, Mike McCarthy probably keeps calling the offense the way he was. I think that game woke him up and was like, yeah, this offense I'm running is trash. We need to let them open it up more. And you got, I know it's going to be hard for people to hear this, EJ. And I know I'm a little biased. But by the numbers, you have a quarterback playing at an MVP level.
I mean, the numbers say so. He's leading the league in touchdowns. Was he only got like 5 interceptions?
6.
I think I looked at the MVP leaders and he was at the top of it. So,
You think? I know we're still talking wrestling before we get to the NFL, but do you think Dak being a Dallas Cowboy will, even if he should win MVP, he won't because of the Cowboy bias?
No, I think if he's got MVP numbers and this record says so, and I think it'll be undeniable. I don't think they would, because as much as there are Cowboy haters, there are a lot of Cowboy lovers. The numbers show so that Cowboys get the best ratings. I think numbers-wise, they probably got the most fans throughout the country. So I think he'll get the nod. I'm just worried about the stretch at the end of the season. It's some tough teams.
That's what I'm saying.
It's some tough teams.
If he plays well through these teams and they go, what we got? 6 games left, 5, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Say they go 4-2 or 3-2, but he plays well. The defense is, they're looking kind of shaky or whatever. Or fucking somebody fumbles at the end of the game. It has nothing to do with him. And they only win 3 or 4 of these games and they don't win the division. But he's still like killing it. I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like he would get the Cowboys biased the opposite way.
I think it all would depend on what Philadelphia did, because Jalen Hurts' name's been at the top of it too. So if their record was better, I think they would give the nod to Jalen Hurts.
He hasn't played well this year, though. He scores touchdowns like running and like the tush push and shit like that. But if you watch the Eagles playing, like he doesn't play well most of the time. He's nowhere near as consistent as Dak is.
Don't tell Mr. Chaos that he might.
I don't give a fuck. I'll tell him and everybody else in Philadelphia that it's the truth.
I mean, for our sake, I hope that
honestly
Dak gets the MVP.
I don't think Hurts is going to win MVP. I think it'll either be Purdy if the 49ers run away with the number 1 division and he keeps playing well, It'll be him, it'll be Dak, or it'll be who's the other one that's up
Is
there?
any Lamar Jackson?
No, Lamar's pretty low. I don't know. I don't see Hurts winning it.
Because even Mahomes' numbers are a little down for his standards. I mean,
Yeah. Oh
it's
boy,
still
Lola likes
Mahomes. Trevor
all them
Lawrence just got hurt.
Yeah. He was up there too. But yeah, I don't know. If Dak keeps playing the way he's winning now, I don't see why he wouldn't. But I don't give a fuck about that. Get me to the Super Bowl. Win
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
doesn't matter, man.
Fuck
But
the regular season MVP. Win Super Bowl
I
MVP.
just fucking 49ers, man. I feel like whoever gets the home field advantage maybe probably takes that game in the playoff.
Yeah. We're still got a little bit of wrestling to talk, but I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not scared of the 49ers.
I'd rather play
I don't want to play them. I'd rather not face them. I'd rather somebody upset them. But if you got to beat them, you got to beat them. Like, go fucking do it.
I'd rather the Cowboys
Everybody
play.
can't,
Go ahead.
everybody can't have the easy road that the Eagles had last year when they beat the Giants, who upset the Vikings, and then they got lucky and Purdy and fucking the linebacker got hurt, and you're playing a 4-string quarterback and the best defensive player you got in the NFC Championship. Like, it doesn't always happen like that. The Eagles got lucky getting to the Super Bowl. I shouldn't say they got lucky getting to the Super Bowl. They got lucky on the road to the Super Bowl, and they played the team that was in front of them. Like, they're no fault of their own. But you're not always going to have that. Dallas doesn't have that. If you look at the teams Dax had to play in the Super Bowl, he's had to play Brady, Russell Wilson when he was better in Seattle, Aaron Rodgers, like at the top of his game, Jared Goff when the Rams went to the Super Bowl that year they won, like, and the 49ers twice. Like, Dak hasn't had an easy win in the or an easy on paper game in the playoffs. You
Well,
just don't. It doesn't happen.
unless something catastrophic happens, play that NFC South winner. Won't they? It's 5 versus 4. It's 5 versus 4, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Whoever between the Eagles and Cowboys, whoever doesn't win the NFC East is definitely going to Atlanta or New Orleans. So it's like a bye.
Yeah, so had that going for it. But what's the math go for it? What would Cowboys have to do to win the East over the Eagles if they split this
So
game?
if the Cowboys win this game, technically they're in first place, even though they're tied, because they'll be 4-1 division. The Eagles will be 3-1. So then if both teams win out, I think Philadelphia would win because they'd have a better record versus the NFC. The Cowboys' 3 losses all came in the NFC. And the Eagles only lost 2 in the NFC. But I think that would be the next tiebreaker, or it'd be like strength of schedule or record versus common opponents or some shit like that. So basically, Dallas needs to win this game, and then they need to finish one game better than Philly.
Schedule. Miami is at Miami. They got those little speedsters there that are annoying. What is it? The Bills on? Is it the Bills on there as well?
Bills on the road, Miami on the road, back to back.
I don't trust Josh Allen though, so not too worried.
You're gonna play Detroit at home, and then you finish up with Washington.
That's a bye. I don't know, man. That little quarterback isn't that bad. Sam Howell.
We saw what happened with that on Thanksgiving. I don't know. Dallas could easily fucking win these last 5 games, and they could easily fucking go 2-3. Like, they're that close with all these teams. But I don't know. Just fucking win Sunday, and then worry about the rest after that. All you gotta do is keep winning the game that's in front of you. Don't worry about the rest of it.
Who that?
The Continental Classic. Let's get to that. We gotta get through these really quick. Honestly, I don't even know who's in it.
I mean, it wasn't really much to talk about it because you said you didn't even get to watch Collision, but Swerve beat.
That's
Jey
what
White.
I'm sorry. For some reason, I was thinking you were talking about the NXT tournament going on. I'm sorry. I got you. The Continental Classic.
Swerve beat Jey White, and then Danielson came back. That happened on Dynamite, but Danielson came back on Collision and beat Eddie Kingston with one eye. So I didn't know if you got to watch the Swerve match.
Yeah, I did see Swerve beat Jay White, which I like. Again, what we talked about with Jay and Rollins, like a clean win. You can have two main guys fight each other, and one of them win and the other one lose, and I liked it. We talked about this also last week. I don't like the fact that I think Swerve might win this whole thing. I don't want him to win this. I want him to be world champion.
Me too. But my other question is, Danielson is in this tournament, and he's known to be hurt. Should he even be in this tournament? I'm sure they're playing up on his eye injury. I'm sure his orbital is fine now, where he wouldn't be in the ring, but he's wrestling with an eye patch.
I'm gonna guess he's not still injured.
But still, him being in this tournament, he has to wrestle 5 people. And if he goes to knockout tournament or whatever, he has to wrestle then. They're trying to get him. He's supposed to be wrestling Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. What if he gets hurt?
And I guess he can't wrestle Okada. Shit. It's a tournament, man. That's what AEW fans are New Japan fans, and they love these fucking tournaments. So Tony Khan's gonna keep fucking pushing. I'm not the biggest fan of tournaments, like, because about halfway through you can start to piece together what's gonna happen. But I don't know. I'm interested in seeing Swerve beat a lot of these people though. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Swerve just went undefeated in the tournament. If you're gonna have him win, don't have him lose.
I don't think he goes undefeated, but I could see him not being beaten. I could see him having a tie with 1 or 2 of them. Like, what good does it do for him taking a pin at this time? That's why I wish he wasn't in it, but I don't know. Like you said, I want to see him go for the world heavyweight title. They're gonna be doing this for the 3 weeks. So I'm sure if there's a good match, we might talk about it. But right now, if you had to choose, who you think wins it?
Swerve.
You think Swerve wins it? Yep. I think they might get cute and maybe have somebody try to come back from behind and win. So even though he's winless, let me go for the dark horse, even though he's probably not gonna win it. Let me go for Daniel Garcia. I feel like they may be trying to build a story for him throughout.
Has he lost any yet?
He's lost all his matches so far.
How the hell is he gonna win?
Maybe he comes back. But I think Roosh is in it too. Maybe they'll do something like that. But I don't think Swerve needs it. Especially, I hope they're not going to defend this new title for the 70 million titles they have. I just hope it's just like you rep it for when you win it and then you retire till next year.
Yeah. Didn't they say they were going to have them defend the title in AEW and New Japan?
I think that's what they said. Because it's the ROH title rolled up in it as well with the strong title. It's just a mess in my opinion. But hey, I heard Danielson was the one that basically won this tournament. So there you go. Deadline. We got that up next, don't we?
Yeah, we can go ahead and make those predictions and then do the power rankings and then hit up on the NFL picks.
So I guess we got the main event at NXT going on right now because I just refreshed the page and that you said I know who won, and it was Fallon Henley that got that last spot. So I didn't know this match was on here. So NXT Deadline coming live from Bridgeport, Connecticut. What a random city to come out.
Yeah,
from.
really.
I didn't even know they had like an arena there, the Total Mortgage Arena, whatever that is. Whoever plays in that, don't they have like a random WNBA team, the Connecticut Sun? Do they play there? Maybe.
Where they play? I would imagine it's probably a college that plays there, a hockey, like a AAA hockey team or something.
Yeah, it's saying Bridgeport Islanders. That is AAA hockey, AHL. So you are right on that. And then you had the G League team, the G League Knicks. So it's an arena that it fits 9,000 to 10,000 people, which is perfect for NXT. And
You think they'll sell it out?
yeah, they probably will. What is it they do in
10,000
Connecticut?
You can't do it.
I mean, we've already talked about the problems that they have, but NXT Connecticut, what else they do on a Saturday night in Bridgeport, Connecticut?
I don't hang out with the Mean Street Posse.
Yeah. Fat ass Pete Gas.
What a great gimmick that was.
So they got.
This motherfucker came out in sweater vest, EJ.
I don't know what's more
from the streets of Greenwich.
Shane McMahon, his buddies. I don't know what's more ridiculous: him wrestling in that sweater vest or Christian wrestling in a turtleneck. Both are pretty ridiculous. But for the curtain jerker in this one, they have it listed as Roxy versus Kiana James in a singles match.
They beefing big time right now. I'm gonna pick Kiana James. Kiana James is a good looking wrestler. I'm gonna pick Kiana James.
I'm gonna go with Roxanne Perez. Because Kiana James doesn't win a lot.
Yeah, I think Kiana James is about to get a push.
So we're opposite on that one. You got Dirty Dominic Mysterio. It says with Rhea Ripley, so maybe Molly makes an appearance. Versus Dragon Lee with Rey Mysterio for that NXT North American Championship.
Dragon Lee's taking another L.
You got Dirty Dom?
Yep.
I got Dirty Dom as well. I wonder what happened to Rhea this past Monday. They didn't say. I know you usually know the behind the scene goings.
What do you mean? What happened to her?
She wasn't on Raw.
Oh, shit, I don't know.
Like I was in Vegas, man. I ain't keeping up with
Hell yeah. Matter of fact, now I think about it, I saw a couple of chicks that looked like Rhea Ripley when I was in Vegas.
Yeah, tatted up, muscly.
Yeah.
Nice. Next, we got Tiffany Stratton versus Lash Legend versus Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. Women's Iron Survivor Challenge to determine the number one contender for NXT Women's Championship. Ooh.
I'm going to go with who I want to win, and it's Blair Davenport.
Since you chose that, who's the NXT Women's Champion, right? Okay, it's Lyra. So I'm going to go with a heel. Blair seems like a nice shiny pick, but I'm gonna go with Tiffany to get a rematch. I'll go with Tiffany just because you picked Blair.
Already had a rematch.
She did?
They could beat her twice.
Well, she'll be a new contender for Lyra.
Since there's so many people, my second pick would be Fallon Henley.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Kind of catapult her up into main event scene. Wouldn't mind that. Kind of a dark horse. So next, we got the men's Iron Survivor Challenge for the number one contender at the NXT Championship. Got Dijak versus Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs versus Braun Baker versus TBD. Who you got?
I have a feeling that Corbin's going to win the NXT title. So I'm going to go with Trick.
Oh, that Trick. It's like my favorite story going on with him and Mello. It's still stringing it along. You got what's this guy's name? Brian Pillman Jr. injected himself in nowhere. Lexus King.
Yep.
I think Carmelo and him are in cahoots, but I guess we have to see it play out. You got Trick. I don't have Trick. Give me Dijak. because I think Ilya's gonna hold on. Spoiler alert on the next pick.
Man, he's been around for so long.
Dijak.
Remember the days of him and Keith Lee having those crazy fucking matches?
Those were bangers back when he was What was his name again? Dominic
Dijakovic.
Dijakovic. I can see why they changed it. That's a tongue twister. A tongue twister right there. That one Vince got right. What's his name? That's too long.
And it was T-Bar, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was terrible. But that main event, Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin. I think I already know
my boy
your pick.
Lone Wolf, man. Baron got to start winning these matches.
Yeah. I just think
Beat your boy Braun Breaker.
What about Braun?
Baron beat Braun Breaker.
Yeah, they kind of cooled Braun Breaker. I'm not mad at it. I mean, he was kind of hot shotted. It kind of dialed back a little bit, but that's good for him to get the reps. I don't think they take the belt off Ilya that fast, so give me Ilya to retain. But yeah, nice compact card, 5 matches, which are good about these NXT cards, and they've been getting kind of back to the black and gold roots. They've been putting on bangers at these PLEs, so
yeah,
I'll be tuning in.
NXT and AEW do have that in common, where when it's a special event or a pay-per-view, like they knock it out the park every fucking time.
I'm sure a lot of people on this car will be making our power rankings next week. But we still got the power rankings for this week to talk about. Did you actually write them down?
Nope.
I know you went last week. I remember that. So I'll kick it off this week. My number 5, one of your favorite women wrestler, Nia Jax.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
Of course, I was being sarcastic about her being a wrestler, but hey, I feel like she's been unbeaten in singles competition. She got the win over Ronda's girl,
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, Shayna. Got that. They don't call it the bonsai drop. I can't remember what they call it, the eradicator or eliminator or something like that. Hey, I feel like they got big things in store for Nia. I think she'll probably be the next to go up against Rhea. Maybe heel on heel, which I kind of don't like. But hey,
more than likely,
I don't think she's lost. Like I said, besides that 5-way match, but she didn't get pinned. That's my number 5.
My number 5 is a tag team in the women's division on Monday Night Raw. Kaden Carter and Katana.
Yeah, I was surprised they won because, by the way, they had the backstage with Natalya. I'm like, all right, they're setting it up, but it went the other direction, which is good that it's not predictable. I mean, this is the most stable that the tag team women's belt have been in a while.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a fan of Chelsea in the ring, but she entertains me with her backstage stuff.
She's entertaining as hell. My number 4, the number 1 contender for the AEW women's title, Sky Blue.
Yeah, like you said, she's got that little main streak in her now. Changed the music up. I sent you a clip earlier where Tony was backstage. It was like, oh, people like seeing you is for your rear or something like that.
I was like the irony of Tony Storm saying that shit.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Sky Blue cut a promo on her too and said, when I come to fight you, I'm gonna have my head up and my tits out, and I'm gonna shove that shoe up your ass.
Yeah.
So hey, we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah. Sky is gonna be taking a pin, but hopefully it's entertaining. That was your number 4. My number 4, I think that the number 1 contender, but I don't think this was the number 1 contenders match. Creed brothers over Judgment Day yesterday. Hey, they've been putting on bangers. I don't know if the crowd really cares about them yet, but so far they've been showing improving. So shout out to the Creed brothers. I don't really know how I feel about the tag team division in WWE. It's kind of weird them having the belts conjoined. Yeah. So you got some tag teams on Raw. You got like 3 tag teams on SmackDown. But then, like I said, I like the belts. I like the belts being unified, but they're still carrying around 2 straps.
Right. If you're not going to separate them, then fucking make one set of belts and let them go from show to show.
Yeah. I don't know. Just feels weird. And Judgment Day, they don't really defend them like that. So,
R-Truth is part of Judgment Day, though. I saw that.
yeah, I like R-Truth. I don't know how I feel about Judgment Day doing comedy. It's weird, but I guess. On to the next one. I got number 3. I got Swerve Strickland, still undefeated in this tournament. I can't remember who he's facing next, but like you said, he might go undefeated, and I wouldn't be mad at that.
My number 3, anytime you beat Eddie Kingston, you get on my power rankings. I don't like that fucker at all. Bryan Danielson with one eye beat Eddie Kingston. So shout out to Danielson with his return to the ring. My number 2, still your WWE World Heavyweight Champion after beating main event Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw, Seth freaking Rollins.
Man, you got me on the edge of my seat with your number 1. My number 2, I have Bryan Danielson. For all the reasons you said, beat Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston is about to lose his belt before he even gets to the knockout round, which would be hilarious. But yeah, Bryan Danielson, One Eye Danielson's got my number 2. My number 1 is your number 2, Seth freaking Rollins. Him and Jay put on that banger, and he's still your world heavyweight champion.
My number 1, the only reason he stayed number 1 and isn't ranked lower is because he was ranked so high last week. And when you still kick ass throughout the weeks and you stay consistent, Swerve Strickland, the best thing going in AEW right now. They cannot fumble Swerve. I don't want to see him lose this tournament, EJ, and then he's not on TV for 4 months. They have something with this guy. Do not fuck it up, please.
I mean, anything can happen with Tony Khan at the head of things, but I don't think they will, man. I think it's got to be him after Samoa Joe. Like, nothing else makes sense. But I did hear a theory. I can't remember who I heard it from. It might have been on All Elite with Keeks podcast about what do you think? What if Adam Page was like a transitional champion and then have Swerve finish up that little thing, circle back around that feud and get it off of Page.
Hangman?
Yeah.
Who would he take the title from?
MJF.
Nah, I ain't feeling it.
All right. Just have Swerve and I don't know how that feud would go, him and MJF.
What if Swerve's the devil?
I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, it kind of come out of nowhere, but if they made it make sense, if you gave some good reasons, why not? That'd be a way to inject them into the title scene. So
I don't know. You know, you say they can't fuck it up and they won't fuck it up, but holy shit. Holy shit. What's my girl's name with that runs around with Noam Dar?
Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson.
Lash just body slammed Otis.
Oh, really?
She just fucking body slammed Otis. Oh my God. Like he wasn't shit. I don't even think I could do that. Otis is a big motherfucker.
That's a big boy.
But you say they can't. But look what they did to Will Hobbs. He was TNT champion. They had him lose. He was gone. He squashes Jericho. Like, just beats the shit out of Jericho. And he ain't done shit since then. That win is wasted. Like, you really squashed Chris Jericho, and now they're not doing shit with him. Tony Khan, do not fuck up Swerve.
I get what you're saying, because Hobbs was on the rise, but he wasn't white hot like Swerve is. Like, critical acclaim, like with the match all across the internet with Swerve, having Swerve, and he's got the entrance to the match. So He's got the
But
Chris
what's the point of
Nana.
squashing Chris Jericho if you weren't going to use that? Why would you squash a legend?
I mean, I definitely get what you're saying with the TNT, but I think they're still trying to tell a story with Don Callis' family.
But that was a month and a half ago, and he ain't done shit with him. People don't even remember that he squashed Jericho. Jericho's already back fighting the Young Bucks. Like, it doesn't even matter anymore.
And that's kind of the pro and con of having such a big roster. I mean, they should have been. This would have been perfect to have him in the tournament instead of Swerve. So they dropped the ball with that.
Swerve's winning.
They dropped the ball. It should have been Hobbs instead of Swerve, I think.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Well, those are your power rankings this week.
Yes, sir.
Now we can get to the nitty gritty. EJ, have I made any progress catching you?
You did. You're going inch by inch. You went 9-4 last week, and I went 8-5. So inch by inch. That puts the year. You are 107-86, and I am 123-70.
You fucking 50 games over 500?
I am. I should be putting money over in this game.
Jesus. Well, let's get to this week in the NFL. Thursday Night Football, Prime Video. The New England Patriots travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers.
And it's garbage. Give me Steelers.
1 o'clock, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hold up. You got the Steelers too?
Yes, I'll take the Steelers. The Buccaneers travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons for first place in the NFC South.
Man, this might be hard. But I got Atlanta.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with the Falcons also. The resurgent Los Angeles Rams at 6-6, now in the thick of the playoff race, travel to Baltimore to take on the reeling 9-3 Baltimore Ravens.
I got the Ravens.
I got an upset special right here, EJ. I got the Rams.
All right.
Your 9-3 Detroit Lions travel to Soldier Field to take on the 4-8 Chicago Bears.
I could see this being an upset special, but I'm still gonna roll with the Lions.
I'll take Detroit as well. 7-5 Indianapolis Colts travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, who, like I said the last time, just came off that impressive win against the Jaguars.
All right, so I think this will be a week that I pick against the Colts one more time, but once they face the Steelers, I finally pick the Colts. I got the Colts. I mean, I got the Bengals with the momentum.
I picked the Bengals also because, like I said, I think Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon last night were both looking like, Burrow's the guy, but we're fucking still here too. You got the 8-4 Jaguars of Jacksonville traveling to take on the 7-5 Cleveland Browns. Both teams probably without their starting quarterback.
And is
there a word on what happened to Lawrence?
It says it's a sprain, which is a sigh of relief, but I think it's a pretty bad sprain, so he's probably gonna miss some weeks. So better than like a ACL, 'cause it looked bad. So, but with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns also. You have the 1-11 Carolina Panthers traveling to New Orleans to take on the 5-7 Saints, who, if things shake out correctly, could be tied for the division lead if they win this game and Tampa Bay beats Atlanta.
I got the Saints.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints also. The surprising 7-5 Houston Texans travel to New York to take on the Jets.
The TRASH. Trash. I got the Texans.
A-Rod might play though.
He'd be stupid to come back and risk that on a team that's not gonna make the playoffs. But have at it, A-Rod.
Also, have you heard the conspiracy that they think he tore it in the middle of the offseason and he tried to play and say he tore it because they're like, it's only been 3 months. Like, there's no way you're fucking back already.
Mm.
Conspiracy is that he tore it during the off season, and they let it play out to where, because on Achilles, you don't really limp around too much. Like Kobe still shot free throws and walked off the court. Like they couldn't hide that. It'd be hard though. I imagine it would still fucking hurt.
Yeah, that you might be right, or the conspiracy theories might be right. Because what if it was like a partial tear and then he just tore it all the way?
Yeah. But still, like to come back this early, that's crazy to me. Because Achilles injury, you'd be out a minimum of a year. Some people never came back from it back in the day.
Yeah, took Kobe out for a while.
Now Kobe's way more athletic than Aaron Rodgers, but
By far. But this was an older Kobe.
I shouldn't say more. More athletic. But what I meant was Kobe had to do more. Like Rodgers drops back and throws the ball every now and then. He has to run for a couple yards. Kobe's literally like running up and down the court the whole game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take the Texans.
Okay.
You got the Minnesota Vikings coming in at 6-6 in the middle. I feel like I'm saying this a lot, EJ, in the middle of the playoff race, like parity in the NFL, to take on the Las Vegas Raiders.
What's the Raiders record?
The Raiders are 5-7.
Give me the Vikings.
I'll take the Raiders.
We got
you got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers.
I got the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the 49ers too, but I'm gonna be cheering like a motherfucker for the Seahawks. um sorry, I'm just seeing what is it with these people on these NFL shows just say stupid shit. David Carr's on there saying that the Eagles should be starting Marcus Mariota over Jalen Hurts.
Is Hurts hurt? That's the only way that would make sense.
He left the game the other night, but he came back in. Hurts is a bit of a drama queen. Like he did it against Dallas too. He acted like he was fucking injured and out for the year, and then he comes trotting back out like fucking Willis Reed.
Willis Reed in the finals.
They just say stupid.
That'd be
shit,
stupid
man.
if he's healthy. Yeah, I don't know what they just say stuff to get clicks. But it's who is that the next game? Is that the Eagles playing?
The Eagles are playing the Cowboys. No, that's not the next game. Sorry. The next game is Buffalo versus Kansas City. This is a big fucking game. This is gonna be a good Sunday to watch some football.
This is in Kansas City.
In Kansas City. It's probably gonna be snowing.
Give me the. Hopefully it's not snowing. That mean it'll be snowing probably around where I'm at too. Don't wish that upon me. Let me get the Chiefs, even though they're a little shaky.
I think Mahomes deserves a lot of MVP consideration because I feel like he's got less weapons than Dak does, and his numbers are very comparable to Dak.
Who you got in the game?
I'm gonna take the Bills.
They play well against the Eagles.
The Bills are fighting for their lives right now, man. They're 6-6. Like they're as of right now, they're out of the playoffs. It started today.
Okay.
Next game, the 6-6 Denver Broncos. Let Russ cook. Traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers.
Let me go with Denver.
Oh, you starting to come around now, are you?
I didn't pick Denver last week, and they took
I
that
know
L.
you're starting to come around. I've been talking up Denver all year.
I just don't trust the Chargers. And they don't really have home field advantage at that stadium. So
yeah, I'll take the Broncos also. As of right now, EJ, the AFC, Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, the Browns. Those are your playoff teams. with Houston, Denver, Buffalo, and Cincinnati all one game out. In the NFC, you got Philly, San Francisco, Detroit, Atlanta, Dallas, Minnesota, and Green Bay. Green Bay done snuck back into fucking playoff contention? Shit. With the Rams, the Seahawks, both one game out, and Tampa Bay and New Orleans one game behind Atlanta for their division. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 teams in the NFC that are basically shit and have no chance of getting to the playoffs right now. And you have 1, 2, 3 teams in the AFC that are basically eliminated. So it's going to be a lot of interesting football coming up in the next few weeks.
Tell me about it. Like you said, parody.
Yes, sir. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to Big D to get their asses whooped by the Dallas Cowboys. America's team. Dallas by at least 17.
Cowboys, you said the Eagles going to the Big D to get their ass whooped. That's what she said. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I don't know about 17 points. I'll go Cowboys by 10.
Why is there a doubleheader on Monday Night Football?
I don't know. They did that a couple times this season.
And they started at the same time.
That's weird. What's the other game?
You got the Tennessee Titans going to Miami. I'll take Miami.
I got Miami.
And then you got the Green Bay Packers going to New York. I'll take Green Bay.
Green Bay going to the Giants?
Yes, sir.
I got Green Bay as well.
That's weird to have that on
at the same time.
Yeah, usually they stagger them. They'll start one on the West Coast at like 6:30.
Yeah.
Start the 8:30. I don't understand this. I will say, man, I've talked about this before when I go to Vegas and other places on the West Coast. I love fucking waking up in football zone in the morning.
I didn't like it when I used to live in California. I didn't like it being so early. Well, more so college football. NFL wasn't that bad because it was 10 o'clock, but college football at 9, I used to hate that, man.
Loved it. I fucking loved it. I woke up, like I said, we got in late and I woke up early because I was still on this schedule and football was on. And I'm just in the living room watching football at Brent's house. And then on Sunday, the fucking Eagles and 49ers game's over at 4:30. Like, you still got the whole rest of the night. As opposed to 7:30, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And it's like, well, time for bed now.
Yeah, that Sunday night game, it's good having that. It happened so early, like at 5, but just the 12, 9 o'clock games, those used to kill me. Or the 10 o'clock games, my bad, the 1 o'clock, 10 o'clock game. Those used to kill me. Because I like cleaning it on my Sundays. So, but yeah, I can see people liking it for the fact that you can have a little brunch and watch a little football, a little breakfast. Nothing wrong with that.
EJ, we got something we need to announce that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and we're coming up on the end of the year. We're going to bring back the Boot to the Face Award, the Booties, as we used to call them.
Yes, sir.
On the next week or so, myself and EJ will come up with categories and nominate wrestlers, and through social media, we will let the listeners and the watchers of Boot to the Face vote on who the winners of this are. And we, besides us nominating the wrestlers, it'll basically be the people on social media that are going to pick what wrestler wins what award.
I'm excited about it, man. Nothing like award season. That usually coincides with Christmas. So good times here at Boot to the Face.
You got anything else you want to add, EJ, before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. Shout out to our listeners like always. And you'll be in 80 proof to give more details about the Vegas trip, and we'll also be dropping in Haymaker later this week as well. So look out for that.
Thanks to everybody that's watching us on YouTube. And shout out to you, EJ, for editing those videos and putting them together. I just happened to see the other day that our videos on YouTube have gotten over 1,000 views on all of them. So that's really good. But if there's 1,000 people watching, why are y'all not fucking subscribing? Hit the sub button.
Yeah, hit that sub button. We need subscribers.
But we greatly appreciate it. And you know, a lot of times there's algorithm issues and shit like that, but a lot of them got a lot of thumbs up and likes. A couple got comments. So there are people out there watching Boot to the Face. We appreciate it. And if you're watching this right now, again, scroll down there, hit that subscribe button. You will not regret it. You'll get the most handsome wrestling podcast in professional wrestling right now. I mean, I don't know who else is doing it, but
Hey, I concur with that. I agree.
But for EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Until next week, peace.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put it